Is an online business right for introverts? Hi, I'm Lucy Griffiths. I am a real introvert, but I also run an online business. And while it might feel as though it's really scary and intimidating to show up on social media and to do videos and do all the things, and it might feel like it's exhausting, actually running an online business can work really well for introverts. And I'm going to show you how you can really maximize what you do as, a business owner, but also not worry if you're an introvert and not feel guilty about in some way that you should be doing something because you're an introvert. So when you're an introvert, you can have moments of being really social and bubbly, and when people meet me, they don't think, oh, she's an introvert. I can smile and chat and really hold my own. But once I've had that experience, then I really need to come away and have some downtime. And I will often find if I've got, if I'm speaking at an event or I've got some kind of conference or some kind of social gathering, I will have that event, and then afterwards I'm like, oh my God, I need that downtime and I need to really decompress. And so for me, that means quiet time. That means maybe I'm doing some cooking or some gardening. I'll go for a run, and I need that time just to unwind and relax. I will also try and meditate to get myself into a different space, a different framework. Very often on the day that I have the big thing that is exhausting and more draining, whether that's meeting with clients face to face or speaking at an event, I will try and go to bed really early because I'm just wiped. And so by being wiped, I'm really pretty useless. I could sit there and watch Bridgerton on Netflix quite easily, but that doesn't really do me any good because I'm then tired the next day. So what I find is much better for me is to actually flip it around by going to bed really early. And so then I'm more productive the next day because hopefully I've had a decent night's sleep. So that really helps me in kind of getting over that moment where I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm drained. When I'm at an event, I always make sure that I have that quiet time plugged in as well. I will escape to the toilet. I used to hate networking events, and I would always go to the toilet because actually I find the process of being in the loo, putting on your lipstick, you can actually have better conversations with someone in the toilet than anywhere else because you kind of connect with them. You build relationships when it's one-on-one rather than having to there's a group of people and you feel obliged to make small talk, or you might feel like you're stuck with someone that you really aren't in alignment with and you feel like, oh my goodness. And those self-doubts come out, that feeling of not being good enough or worthy enough. And so because you feel really you feel really self-conscious, should I say, not self-confident, and not confident, I find that would be a point where I would want to, when I was younger, I want to go and drink loads and I'd get really drunk because I was feeling so overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. And so drinking was a way to compensate for that. So when I stopped drinking and embraced sobriety, then it was like, okay, how do I get over this? How do I still be fun Lucy? And, certainly for a good while of not drinking, I didn't know how to socially interact. And that is hard. It's much more difficult. So you have to find other ways of interacting with people. And so I much more prefer, doing things where it's an activity, whether it's like going for a walk with someone, going hiking, or I'll go to a yoga class with someone. And so it's a different activity. It's a different vibe rather than feeling like I'm the boring one and we're in a bar. And so that's why networking events I find quite difficult because it would be in that same space where I'd immediately want to go and have a drink, and I don't drink, and it's like, oh, how do I compensate for this? So I don't do that anymore, and that's fine. I don't feel guilty about it because I actually realized going to networking events wasn't actually a great return on investment of my time anyway. It was, actually, very often in those situations, you're not going to get the clients that you can do when you build a social media following and when you scale. So for me, I embraced online. Now, you might feel like, I'm an introvert, how can I possibly be out there online? But you can do it in small bursts where you can be social because you're in control of your energy. Being an introvert isn't that you can't be social, it's just that you get drained. And so you can manage your energy by having bursts of energy where you literally put yourself out there. You might write a post, you might do a video, and then that's the burst of energy. You might feel exhausted afterwards, but you've had that concerted burst of energy so that you can go on and do other things. And that makes a massive difference to you and the way that you show up and what's going on in your working life and, you know, everything else. So I will have a day where I'm creating video like today. And so I'll have this burst of energy, I'll make a bunch of videos. And then from that, then it's like, okay, I've batched those. I won't do tons. I used to do, like some days I used to do 50. I'm not like that anymore. But I definitely try and use that burst of creativity, or sometimes it's I'm not feeling like I can't really be bothered, and so by being in that space I'm just quite chill, so I can have chats with people on video, whereas I'm not necessarily in a kind of creative writing space. So learn to tweak your energy and find out what works for you, but it's not as draining as you think it might be. It's more about your mindset thinking, I'm an introvert, I can't possibly do this, rather than actually who you are as a person. And once you embrace being on camera and being confident on camera, everything changes, and it's so much easier to be an online entrepreneur because you are showing up and having chats with people, and then it becomes fun and it becomes just a different vibe and space. So embrace social media, embrace putting yourself out there. Like, I really love LinkedIn. I will post on LinkedIn, and I've built a community on LinkedIn where I have friendships and connections, and I check in with people and see how we are. And those connections and the world that it's created really is really affirming, and it's lovely. And it's, you know, when you work from home and you are like, you're the only person you see all day, you know, apart from doing the school run, actually it's really nice to have that connection and community. But I don't necessarily want to have to go into an office or have that sort of, that space that is not necessarily works best for me, but I can still have that connection and purpose from social media, as long as it's meaningful. If it's kind of just vacuous and like, oh, here's a few likes, and you're not really engaged with that process, it's not fun. But if you fully connect to it and you fully become part of something, then actually you find your tribe of people and it becomes something really special and lovely. So being an entrepreneur and being an introvert should not be two parallel things. It's something that can really work together well. And there are many people who call themselves introverts who are also entrepreneurs. So that should not be a reason to hold you back. You can do this, okay? If I can do it, if I can put myself out there and be social but also want to hide away, then you can too. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to go and snuggle now and hide under a blanket, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love you to subscribe. Please click on the link below. Bye for now.